Okay, here we go. Fantasy Football Astrology Channel. What do we got? Today is Monday. Thursday is the draft. We're about 3 days away from the draft, right? 4 days away, however you want to calculate it. I know all you got to be stoked. If you found this channel, you're probably like a super deep football fan, digging all the deepest knowledge you can possibly find. I'm pretty sure this is the only football channel on the planet breaking down astrology. If they are, they're probably doing it different because I started doing football astrology on my own accord. I started seeing the patterns. And so these are two things I really love, astrology and football. And so I'm going to show you guys what I've been working on here. You see it. Indianapolis Colts are picking at 21. I wanted to do Indianapolis because they're a really interesting team, guys. There's a lot of new parts because of Mr. Carson Wentz. If you follow this channel, you know that the predominant thing that I'm looking at here is the chemistry between the quarterback and his receivers. That's the main pattern I see to be showing up. But I'm finding other things like defensive backs, water signs are good defensive backs, and we're finding that earth signs are good offensive linemen. And so it's a fun little community. Some of the people in the comment section are tipping me off to things they see in astrology. And so that's kind of neat. All right. So I'm going to break this board down, kind of show you what I think the Indianapolis Colts should do at 21 potentially. Obviously, they have a lot of options being that they're in that middle area. So we're going to get right into it. Jim Isray is a Gemini, okay? He's got a fairly new GM, Chris Ballard, as a Cancer, okay? Not exactly a good match between those two, but I really like Chris Ballard. He's a low ego guy, and I don't know what it is about this situation astrologically, but if I can just summarize it, I would say the Colts are in alignment, and they look like they are lucky, okay? Their symbol, right, is the symbol of luck, the horseshoe. And they landed Carson Wentz again. And gosh, if you wouldn't just notice, all of his receivers are just chock full of astrological chemistry, okay? So another thing to note, Frank Reich was his coordinator in Philadelphia when they made their Super Bowl run, okay? So that's what I feel like. Carson Wentz kind of has good football karma. I feel like Chris Ballard has good football karma. The Colts organization in general has good football karma, right? And so everything seems to be kind of working out for them. This Chris Ballard guy, he just finds talent really well. When he's drafted, like last year, he drafted Jonathan Taylor, and I remember watching thinking, gosh, man, he does it again. He's looking for these high impact players. He's looking for these unique players that have something more than just maybe a well-roundedness. They have exceptional traits. And so he finds these guys, and so here we have it, right? We have Frank Reich and Carson Wentz. So the question is history going to repeat itself? Okay, are these guys going to make another run, right? They've got their coordinator, this Brady guy, as a Libra. Frank Reich and Brady, they get along. It's not great as a Capricorn to Carson Wentz, but I'm not too concerned because Earth moves into air, air can move into fire, and fire moves into Earth. So there's a nice ability to communicate through those signs, even though it is, you've got a intellectual signs and you have emotional sign here. So that's what we're looking at when we're looking at the coaching staff. Frank Reich and Carson Wentz have a really good history of success. And so when you're looking at all of Carson Wentz's receivers, I mean, pick your poison, guys. Scorpio is a great match. Cancer is his polar opposite with Paris Campbell. Michael Pittman is the same sign as Zach Ertz, right? So the challenging component is like, okay, great, Carson Wentz has all these good receivers, but if you're in fantasy football, what do you do? Do I pick Hilton? Do I pick Pittman? Do I pick Campbell? Mo Alley Cox, Jack Doyle? I don't know what to do. There's so many weapons here. But what this does tell me is that Carson Wentz himself could actually be quite productive next year, right? He's the common denominator for all of this chemistry, okay? Even looking at Michael Pittman as an air sign, earth goes into air, and this kind of reminds me of the connection of was Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. It was fire moving into earth with the same type, right? So these are both cardinal signs. So I see a lot of just really good confluence. I expect a resurgence for Carson Wentz this year. They've got a great O-line, right? Is history repeating itself? They've got another super strong O-line. They're rated 7th best, and that was considered like they had a kind of an off year. So we know the pendulum always swings, right? You get your butt kicked, you get back up, and you're ready to go again. You get re-inspired. So I expect their offensive line to be playing really good next year. And so moving further into what they're going to do at 21, probably not going to be O-line. It's probably not going to be wide receiver. I mean, they're really set as far as T.Y. Hilton, Pittman, Campbell. But Hilton's only on a 1-year contract, okay? They just re-signed him to a 1-year contract, and Paris Campbell's having trouble staying healthy. Okay, so they might want to go receiver here. And they've got a couple of really nice options. Elijah Moore as a Taurus would be the most perfect match astrologically. If I could pick any sign to be good for Carson Wentz, I would pick a Taurus, okay? Then you have Pat Freiermuth, a baby Gronk as a tight end. He's a Scorpio, another super good match. De'Ami Brown, right? You have Chris Sims. If you watch his podcast, he swears this De'Ami Brown guy is a first-round talent. Maybe not. Maybe you can get him in the second round. But these are all really good alignments here. Looking at the defense, their defensive coordinator is a Taurus, okay? So picking at 21, I'm not sure you're going to be able to get a Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah there, right? But if they can, it's a good match. They probably don't want Zaven Collins. He's more of a 3-4 kind of a guy. And Micah Parsons could fall, realistically here. He wouldn't be a good match with the coordinator. Another guy that might fall would be Caleb Farley. Would be a great match with the coordinator. I know they need defensive back help. And he'd be a better match than, say, you've got a couple of masculine signs with intellectual signs with J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain. So wouldn't be as good of a match there. So I think this is kind of like their best potential if they can't land either of these guys. Elijah Moore's almost for sure going to be there. Same with Pat Freiermuth. But those are both really exceptional talents. I put Elijah Moore, if you don't know Elijah Moore, he's up there with the top 3 guys. He's faster than I think all of them except Waddle. So one of the fastest combines, just solid. He's got a solid body. Really like that Elijah Moore player. So that's what I have for you guys. For fantasy football purposes, just an overview, I like Carson Wentz the most. If you had to pick a guy out of the receiving core, I would probably pick the guy who doesn't have an injury problem. And, you know, T.Y. Hilton's gone flat as of late, more often than not. So I would pick the second-year wide receiver. He's had great history with Ertz. Like I said, Earth does move into air in astrology. So probably would pick Pittman, but it's really hard to tell. Carson Wentz is the way to go. They're going to have a strong running game. They're going to have a pretty dang good defense again. So there it is, guys. I hope you dig the video, and more to come.